Okay, accept that. I'm going to pray, and then Victoria will take it away. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for these beautiful women. I have missed seeing their faces. I am just so excited to see these beautiful faces. And I just want to ask you to be with each of us on this call. I know that probably everybody on here has something that is troubling them in their life right now, something they're struggling with. And you know all of these things, God. And I just pray that you will be with these ladies and that you will fill them with peace and comfort and hope, because you are the God who redeems everything. And that this world has trouble, but you have already overcome it all, and that you are taking all the trouble and the stress in their lives and you are finding ways to bring beauty out of it. And I just pray that you will remind us all of that and comfort us and help us to learn some things tonight that we can use to bless our businesses and to bless others. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Aubrey. Okay. So I think that it's just really hard to kind of come up with something at the end of the year, at the end of the month, that um, not just it's not just another training. It's something that we can really use right now. And I was brainstorming some different things this morning, and then Vicki came into our level 1 through 4 chat. I think most people are in it in here, and talked about systems. And it was like a light bulb went off, because I feel like that is something that I personally struggle with. And I'm sure a lot of us struggle with, because I mean, I feel like if we were, using all the systems and doing all the things, we probably would all be diamonds by now, like if we mastered it. So, and so I got to thinking a little bit about that. And I was thinking how much I struggle with like the word systems, and how for years, I say for years, for the past couple of years, if I go to Aubrey, she's like, we're going to use the system. Or if I'm trying to create a new business builder, she's like, we're using our simple system. And I'm like, okay, but like, what is that? Because like we have so many. And whenever she says a simple system or whatever, it's like I kind of understood it, but I pretended like I really knew what she was talking about. But I don't think I really fully understand it, to be honest. And so today I thought, okay, Victoria, like that is something that you really need to incorporate into your business. And I feel like it is something that a lot of people could benefit from as well. And I'm clearly not a master at that. So that's why today I think it'd be fun to kind of brainstorm a little bit. But I decided to do a little research, and I looked at different leaders in the company, because I thought, well, how cool would it be to have somebody on our call that uses a great system that could share some wisdom? And I honestly think that whatever system somebody shares with us, it's not going to work for us unless we make it our own. And that's where I feel like I've struggled, particularly with like the IPA stuff, like the winning day and blah, blah, blah. Like the winning day really is the winning day. It's all the things we should be doing every day. But I've had a hard time really, I guess, attaching myself to it, in a sense of I'm not really following it very well. It doesn't feel I don't have a lot of ownership with it, because I didn't create it necessarily. And so, anyways, I did some research today and looked at different leaders, and finally one guy that we all know, the king of network marketing, Bob Heilig, popped up when I was researching. And he has, of course, all these videos on systems. So I watched a couple and I was like, this is not what I'm looking for. This is for if you have a giant team. But the beginning of the video, he explained what a system is. And I think that's what I was missing. And I wanted to share it with you guys in case some of you were like me, where you may not fully understand what a system actually is, or you might understand it, but maybe I'm just, I'm the only one who may not understand. I don't know. But anyways, the biggest thing that he said is that systems are ways that you clearly define things that you do. It's not just one thing. So it's not just like, oh, we have a system, the winning day. Like that's just a system for our IPA. But there are other systems, like your onboarding system, your prospecting system, your system for customer care. And the winning day is kind of like the broad spectrum of that, I feel like. But their systems are ways that you clearly define things that you're doing. And so creating a system that works for you, I feel like the word system is so cold. It's not really something that like I feel like it's just kind of that word that you hear over and over, but you don't really have attachment to. And he said, if you really want freedom, like if you really want to have this time freedom and this growth and this flexibility, or whatever you're looking for in this business, that's where systems come into place. It's not just goals. It's not just because I mean, a lot of the time I was up until 11, 12 o'clock sometimes answering messages and doing other things, and I didn't have a lot of boundaries on my time or a system in place that I was following to be successful. And so, anyways, that's some of the stuff he said. And then he also said systems provide fertile soil for duplication to occur and for leaders to grow and develop in that fertile soil over time. So a system is fertile soil where duplication occurs, and then leaders can grow from that fertile soil. And that is something that I thought, I like an analogy, and that really hit home for me. And he also said that teams that implement all these brand new things really fast, all at one time, aren't usually successful. Or if you try to do that in your business and you're like, I'm going to do this system and this system and this system all at one time, or if you've been in the business for 6 years like I have, I think most of us here, you guys may have been in for longer, it's hard to change all of a sudden into something new. And he said that implement change with systems slowly, very slowly, and one thing at a time. And so that made me think of something. I have been seeing a wonderful therapist for about 2 years. She took a maternity leave for a little while. And then so I'm seeing her again weekly. It's awesome. I highly recommend therapy. It's just like, it's going to like a gossip session, I feel like, where I get to lay it all out there. And somebody non-biased can give me a little bit of feedback, but they don't care. So I love it. But anyways, one of the things she told me, because I've been struggling a lot with this new career change and being home full time and seeing, and I'm just having a hard time with creating a routine and kind of like struggling with self-discipline and kind of what that looks like, which I'm sure most of you understand working from home. And she said, Victoria, why don't you write out what your dream schedule would be? And then next time we talk, let's talk through that dream schedule. So I did. I wrote down 6:30 a.m., wake up, go work out. I wrote down, like, penciled in, like, when Charlotte gets up, when she goes to school, what my day looks like with Plexus, da 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 da, all the way through. And then I wrote this whole thing out, and I talked to her about it. And she said, now why can't you just implement that? And I said, well, that's a lot of changes from what I'm already doing right now. And she said, well, okay, why don't you pick one thing and change one thing for 1 week or 2 weeks and then see how you feel. And then if you like that and you feel like you can add one more thing, add one more thing in. And so we've always been told, like, chunking or doing small things, small steps, repeated over time equal massive results, right? And so I thought, well, that's genius. I mean, it's very, I mean, I should have known that. So whenever I heard that from him today, I thought, well, okay, if I can do that with my schedule, then I should be able to do that with my business. And it's hard right now to implement new things, and I'm very overwhelmed, and I'll do great for like 2 or 3 days. And I'll be like, send me this. You're doing great. We're going to keep each other accountable. You're going to send me this, da, 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 da. And I do really awesome for like 2 or 3 days. And then I am not successful after that. And I think what needs to happen is implementing those changes slowly. And so I just wanted to share that just in case any of you guys are feeling like there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of specials. There's a lot of people are being successful around you. And what are they doing? Oh, I want to do that too. And but you can't really do that yet. Or, there's just a lot. Doing small things, a little change here and there, you're at your own pace. And you are where you are, and you are where you should be, which is what Emily Gibson always says in her trainings. And so anyway, I wanted to share that. And I want to share one more thing. And then I think that I would like to kind of brainstorm a little bit, because I could use tons of help, of course, with any ideas anybody's using with success. But one of the things that I changed in November that I really need to stick to a little bit better, and that's my new goals and system, is I took the IPA sheet, the winning day, and instead of following it, because every day I'd pull the sheet out, my new sheet, and I'd fill it in. And then I'd get confused about one little wording of something, or I'd be like, well, I need more blanks here, or I need this less here, or whatever. And so one day I sat down and I literally wrote out my 7 steps. I wrote 7 steps and I put it in my own words. And I felt so much better about doing an IPA when it was in my own words and I understood it better and it felt like I could breathe when I looked at it. And I'm not sure if that would be helpful for anybody else, but just it made me feel like I had this sense of like, this is my IPA sheet. This is how I like it. And I'm covering all of the steps of the winning day, the 7 steps, but like in my own wording, in my own way. And my plan is to type this up and or make copies of just my handwritten one with blanks on it and make this my IPA sheet. So it makes me feel a little bit more empowered, I guess, in IPA. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but anyways, I just wanted to share that. So with that being said, one of the things that Vicki mentioned in one of her messages, which I was also going to bring up, is creating a schedule for your week. So whatever that looks like, putting down your hours that you're going to work. I've been struggling every morning with, okay, I'm working. I drop Charlotte off at 9. I work from 10 to 2, but it's every morning. And that's the only time I can get my errands done without her. But then I feel guilty because I'm not getting my Plexus work done because I'm going to run errands. And she said, well, Victoria, why don't you make 3 days a week your more Plexus mornings and then run your errands those other 2 days? Because everybody knows millennials don't work on Fridays. If you don't know this, it's called Millennial Friday. We don't like to work on Fridays. And so I was like, oh, that would be a great day to run my errands, but also get a little bit of work done. So create a schedule. That's one of the things she mentioned to be more successful. So I want to open it up to anybody that has, are you doing something right now that you just feel like is just really helpful, even if something small that you feel like you've done it before and it was helpful, you're not doing it now, or you're doing it now, or is there somewhere you're struggling that someone else can suggest something? So unmute, share. I think it'd be good to share some things.
I'll go first because this is on my mind. I'm using this winning day worksheet that Aubrey sent me, and I just, it doesn't bother me that it's written by somebody else. I still make it my own, but the one thing I added to it at the top of my worksheet, I put prayer time. I'm a minister's wife, or I was for 39 years. So prayer has always been a part of my life. But like you said, having the, when I retired, I didn't know what to do at first. I didn't know what to do first. I had all these things I wanted to do with this freedom, but I was used to a rigid schedule in a school and it was hard to adjust, but I did. But this just putting the prayer time on there, and I wrote it with like a permanent marker. So it's bigger, thicker letters and it jumps out at me. So when I sit down and I fill my name out, which Aubrey's probably seen, where I put the date on the name slot and then I scratch it out and put my name there. I don't know why I'm writing the date first, but maybe I need to make that adjustment for myself. But having that prayer time at the top of that list, the last few days I've sat down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to pray. And it's quiet. David's gone to do his thing and I'm sitting here and I pray, and they have been some of the best prayers that I've had in a long time. Just praying about, everything, my family, our move and all the stuff we've been going through, and praying for my business, for David, for the adjustments and changes he's had with his business. And I end up very emotional in my prayer, but then I feel so energized afterwards that doing this stuff, it just kind of, and I might not do it right after that. I do some of it and then I'll usually take a break and then come back and do the rest. But that's been a huge change for me. So just sometimes we need to be reminded.
I love that. I just added it to my list. That's what I have been missing as well.
Yeah, and then when I photocopy it, because I just photocopy from one of the copies, the original copy, and it's on there now. So I don't have to remember to write it in every day. It speaks to me.
I love that.
I unmuted myself. I'll kind of go off what Lynette said too. And Aubrey and I have had some interesting conversations about this because I am I just taught a few months ago a spiritual disciplines class at a workshop. And so that was something that was super on my mind. But the past, I don't know how many months, I set my alarm to wake up. And then after my alarm goes off, I don't look at anything else. I don't look at messages. I don't look at emails. I don't look at anything. I get in my routine. I go fix my coffee. I do all the things and I do my study and I pray. And that's how I get my day started. Because if I let any little bit of the world in before I focus on God and his word and praying and stuff, then that also distracts me. But something that I've been doing is the dripping and then the following up messages the next week. So having my list of 25 people that I'm dripping on consistently for 1 week, and then the next week I take 5 names each day. It has been phenomenal. Like, I've had friends who say, were you reading my mind? I was going to reach out to you. How did you know I needed this I'm like, okay, it has blown my mind. I haven't even told Aubrey this, but it has blown my mind how I've had 3 friends last week who said, I was going to reach out to you. I'm so glad that you reached out to me first. And so that's been interesting too. So that has been a big intentionality piece that I had been missing before and just kind of going willy-nilly, whatever. And so now for me, it's putting those people who have said, yes, I want to order or whatever, back into the funnel and following up with them, putting them in chats, in the Facebook Messenger chats, the events. But yeah, that's what I've been doing and kind of what I need to do more of.
I love that. Really quick before we move on to someone else, can you explain, I know some of us are familiar with the drip thing, the drip list. Can you explain a little bit more in detail how you do that? I know it's been successful for quite a few people on our team so far. So it'd be good to hear a little bit about that.
So I have my list of 25 people. It's either from birthdays, which birthdays is another intentional thing that I've been doing more of that has been great for me. But those 25 people, I go and I make sure that I've seen their stories. I comment on, or not just their stories, on their page. I try not to be creepy about it, and go back too far if I've like missed a day of liking something or just being intentional about interacting with them in some way on Facebook. I know some people message them or make, say, hey, your kids have grown so much, I can't believe it, and just starting a conversation with them. But that's kind of what I've done. It's probably been less of the messaging and more of just being intentional about being on their page and interacting with things that they posted on their page. I'm not a stories watcher. I need to be better about that. And I need to be better about putting my own stories out there, but that's how I do it. And then I literally just take the list, and the next week, Monday, put the first 5. Tuesday, put the next 5 on my winning day worksheet. It says people that I've dripped on reaching out to this week or whatever. And I have those 5 names on there. Whenever I message them, I put a check beside their name. If they say, no, I'm not interested right now, I put an X through their name. If they say, sure, I'd like more information, I put a star above their name. So I can easily go back the next week and put them in a different list. So I just try to make that way my eye catches the stars. So I know who are those people that I have talked to, because I can forget on Wednesday who I talked to on Monday. I don't know if y'all are the same, but I can do that.
I love that. I'm going to use that. I have the same problem. I can't get organized, and I've been looking for a way. So that's very helpful. Thank you.
And I'm a paper person. I'm a paper girl. Mm-hmm. I have my folder. I have my drip list on paper. I print them out every week because I'm just a paper girl.
That's awesome. Okay. Anybody else? We have a little bit of time. So anybody have a thing that's working for them or an area you are struggling and you want some advice or help?
I just want to throw out another question, actually, just kind of to go with that. And this is not probably one that we're going to resolve this, tonight. But what I do think would be good going into 2023 is to really evaluate your systems. And I know Victoria touched on this, that we have You know, we have different systems. We have, if you start at the beginning, you have your prospecting system. You know, that's how you find prospects. But even within your prospecting system, you kind of have a dripping system. And what stuck out to me in Victoria's definition was ways that you clearly define things that you do. And we all on my team, our team, have a duplication problem because none of us are duplicating as well as we would like. Because if we were, we'd all be on a yacht. Okay, we'd be 5-star diamonds and we'd be on yachts together. But that doesn't mean that we can't get there, and systems really are the answer. And I didn't realize this in the beginning. Nobody taught us this in the beginning. We didn't really have clearly defined systems for what we do. And so I really want you to think about your whole business, and what system do you have? Like, if you can't clearly explain to, like, Lynette, if you can't clearly explain to Mary what you do, then, or to Laura, if she signs up, when Laura signs up, because she is going to sign up, if you can't clearly explain to her what you do, then you don't have a good, clear system. Okay. So, and there could be some I'm leaving out, but we have a prospecting system. The basic systems are prospecting, or recruiting, kind of the same thing, recruiting, retention, duplication, and leadership. Okay. And so those are like the 4 pillars. Now, Jordan Roddenberry added in attraction marketing, and she added in a 6th one. What was Victoria and Lynette were, Victoria and Loretta were at that Gold School with us. There was one other one she added, but I can't remember the 6th one right now. She did the 6 pillars. And I know the 4 original are recruiting, retention, duplication, and leadership. And then she added in social, like attraction marketing, and I just can't remember the last one right now. But anyway, vision casting was her 6th one. But I mean, even within that, and I don't want you to like overthink it and spend all your time thinking and like freaking out about systems, but you need a simple system for how you're going to help people recruit. Or, I mean, basically it's you need a system for increasing your network. You need a system for, and it could be as simple as I go to Facebook every day and I add 3 people I may know. That could be your system. Like, a system doesn't have to be super involved. I mean, your system for keeping your body clean is you take a bath this many days a week, and you use soap, and you use shampoo, and you dry off. I mean, that a system doesn't have to be super complicated, but you have to have one, because if you don't have a system for increasing your network, then you're not really going to be consistently increasing your network. Does that make sense? So you need a system for increasing your network. You need a system for relationship building. You need a system for how you ask people about Plexus. You need a system for follow-up. And you need a system for customer care. And then you need a system for duplication. And that can be broken down into how you create silvers. And then how do you help your silvers create silvers? Does that make sense? Susan might have a comment.
I was just thinking, when you're talking about taking a bath, we all take a bath or shower. That's kind of like the framework. Yeah. That's like the framework. But within that, I know Lynette likes the Plexus body soap, and other people might like this. And I think that's where I'm getting stuck, because Victoria, we're so similar. She was talking about there's so many systems out there that I just get stuck. I'm like, I'll save all this stuff, and I'm cleaning my office. I've been busy lately, just getting my mind off some things. But I threw out so many IPA sheets tonight that I'm like, where'd this come from? And so we were talking today on our power hour, and it's like you were on there, Aubrey, because
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Sorry.
Now it's like I'm with you. My Siri is with you, because mine talks to me all the time.
But we were talking about that today. I mean, this very same thing, Lynette and some others were, that we have to narrow it down, because I think that's where we're getting stuck, because there's so much out there. And what's working for Aubrey may not work for us, but we've got to have that framework. And then we need to plug in what would work for me and what would work for Lynette. But yet it still complements
Oh yeah.
each other,
Love that. And so what I've been doing with a lot of the people that I've been coaching with is like, I don't care what you use, but find an IPA sheet that you feel good about, that you can do, and then do it consistently. Because I can't help you figure out what's going wrong or what could go better in your system if you're not doing it. Like, just like Victoria cooks, Loretta and Victoria are chefs. I would say I cook things sometimes. Usually I use a crock pot, but Victoria and Loretta are chefs. And so, but if they were to be trying to teach me how to make, Loretta likes to make chicken spaghetti when she comes to visit. So let's say that Loretta's trying to teach me how to make chicken spaghetti. I can talk to her about how to make chicken spaghetti all day. And I can talk about how I'm going to make it. But until I actually try to do that, and I'm like, which utensil do I even use for that? Oh, that's the one Finley took to church the other night. That's for pasta. Cool. She went to church with a utensil the other night just because she thought she needed a emblem or something. I don't know. And Mom's like, that one's used for pasta. And I'm like, I didn't know that. But like, I don't know. Like, I really didn't know that that's what you do with that utensil. It's been in my drawer for like 20 years because you get utensils for your wedding. Anyway, so, but my point is that if I'm not doing it, I don't even know what my problems are. I don't know what they really are. And I don't know how to, I don't know where I have problems. I don't know where I need help. And Loretta can't tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I may sound like I know what I'm doing, but until I actually do it, you can't work on that. So I've really been having people work with at least, and the main thing we're working on is really just a lot of the essentials of recruiting. And then we'll move past that, because in a lot of the diamonds that teach how to be successful, they start with recruiting, because you can't master the others until you've mastered recruiting. And then you move on to retention, which is customer care. And then you move on to duplication. And then you move on to leadership. And that's, I've figured out my systems mostly for the three things before that. And I don't really have a system for leadership at the moment. So that's why none of you guys are like amazing, like diamond leaders, because I don't have a system and I hadn't been teaching y'all, but we're working on it. Anyway, so, but that's, you kind of have to do some of the things together, because you really do want to make sure you have a decent retention system when you're bringing people in, but you got to be bringing some people in to even need to have a retention system, if that makes sense. So,
but see, that's where I get stuck, because I'm like, okay, I don't have that place. And I start to not panic, because I don't panic. I'm not that kind of person, but I just start playing this reel in my head. It's like, I want to have all of it in place, because I know what happens when I don't. The retention's not good, or, and then that just keeps me from like going forward, because there's how many out there? I don't know.
Yeah. And so you have a hard time when there's too many choices, you just shut down.
Apparently, I think that might be part of my issue.
I actually do that too. Like I have ADHD. This is no secret. And if there are I see too many variables, and like, I literally would not track my points for years, because I was like, what's the point of tracking my points? Because if Susan orders on the 2nd this month and on the 8th next month, then that's not comparable. Or if Sarah Ann, orders on the whatever, I just picked you because you're sitting there, but like, and Amber Bales, some months she orders, some months she doesn't order. Some months I compress, some months I don't. I'm like, this is pointless. Unless my leaders order on the same day every single month, then it's not comparable and I don't care. But if I have too many variables, I just give up. I need it to be simple, and my brain just doesn't want to try to decide between 16 different ideas which one is best. I shop better in my mom's closet than I do at a store because the store has too many clothes. And my mom's closet has a lot more narrowed down. Like, for real, like, what is wrong with me? I mean, I'm just like, but I just don't do well with too many options. And so I think what we've done that's been challenging for you guys is giving y'all so many options, because we're like, well, we want everybody to have an option that works for them. But then sometimes we give you too many things and it's like, we don't even try. Our customers, we do this to them too sometimes. You know, you give your customers 16 options and they're like, I just want you to tell me what to buy. And so they're out. And then they teach us, oh, you're supposed to just give your customer 2 choices. Oh, well, that works better. I mean, think about it with your husbands. Your husband says, where do you want to eat? You're like, I don't know. Your husband says, I want to go, I want to go. No, I don't want to go there. I mean, you can't choose between the 16 options. Well, in Stockdale, we have like 2, but in a normal town, you have a lot of options. You can't choose between those options, but you can narrow it down if they tell you one. Be like, nope, I don't want that. Well, I don't want that. Well, you said you didn't care. Well, I know I don't want that. So I think that's actually something that a lot of us do. And that's a good point, Susan. And that's why I do think we need to try to narrow it down and try to make things simpler, because our new people will just quit. Right, Victoria? You've worked with
Yeah, and
people lately.
yeah, right. And that's one of the things I was thinking about today with my system, is that, like, what did I do wrong? Like, why did she fall off the face of the earth and go into the witness protection program? But Susan, like, you're literally preaching to the choir. Like, we're the same person, and I feel the same way. And that's when today I heard Bob Heilig say, you have to implement the system slowly. So whatever I'm doing so far has gotten me somewhere, sort of, and I'm still kind of trucking along. So I'm going to continue trucking along and then change one system at a time.
I feel like
That's in my mind. You probably did, but when Bob Heilig says it, it's
But
different.
then I probably told you to do 16 other things.
Yeah, but I think that's the key right there, is that we have to pick one thing and work on that one thing. Otherwise, if we do all the things and then it's always, there's something new that's always going to come along. I mean, 2 years ago, our business ran a whole lot differently than it is now. So I think that if we just implement the system slowly, and having slow change and becoming good at that is where it's going to stick. And that's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to give ourselves permission not to jump on every bandwagon that comes along.
Right.
Because they're all great, but that doesn't mean that they're going to work for us, for me, and so I think we need to give ourselves permission to say, that's really good, but I don't think that's a system that's going to be something I'm going to implement.
Yeah, I mean,
but then I get stuck. It's like, but then what do I like?
Yeah,
Anyways.
I mean, it's not if a system is clear and you get the results you want from it, that's a good system. No system is good if you don't use it. So if, like, Vicky may have a system that works for her. Oh yeah, Vicky fills in her calendar with like every hour of what she's doing. That would make me want to run away and hide. Like, I can't do that. And she said, set your hours or whatever. I kind of I'm more of the type of, I'm going to set my family hours and have a general idea of my work hours, because I'm getting my work done. So you have to figure out what works for you, Susan. And you and you're different than certain people and vice versa. And yeah. So, but I think these are really great conversations. One thing I'll throw out there real quick is that, ask a friend, ask on Power Hour for what their system is. Try their system. If you don't know what to do, pick a system, try it for a week or, couple of weeks, see how you feel. And then, try that or tweak it or do something different. But really, I encourage you going into 2023 to at least choose a system to start with and to start doing, and try to think about what systems you have and make sure that you do have systems, but don't wait to do anything until you have all your systems perfect, because that's not going to work. But I think just being aware of the fact that you need to have systems will go a long way, because I know I drove Vicky crazy with when Genevieve and when I first started doing the coaching, because I'm like, well, what's our system? What's our system? what's our system? Let's make it a system. Because I was all about, well, we need a system, and you need somebody that you talk to about it though, because like sometimes she'll be like, Aubrey, that's not simple. And I'm like, well, it seems simple to me, but it's not simple to other people. And so, anyway, I think there's lots of good things we can say about systems.
Does Jordan have her systems written down somewhere? I'm just curious.
Jordan Roddenberry?
Or yeah, I don't know Jordan Roddenberry. What'd I say?
Yeah, but you did that. They should probably have a
Okay.
video on YouTube somewhere.
Brooke has her system. She talked about the pillars. She did not really go through her systems. And I'm not sure Jordan is actually a system. Well, she does. I mean, she talked about her duplication system. Brooke has a lot of her systems written down, but I would really say that the way that you work on your systems is just think about the different parts of your business and what you do, and just start brainstorming. And Brooke says, just write it down. Like write down what you do.
This is where I want to know the heading. I can fill it in. The heading, I can
You
fill
want,
it in.
like which systems you need.
Yeah, I'd like
Let's
to know
brainstorm that together.
exactly.
We've got a pod chat. Let's start thinking, during this next week, especially before, in the next week or two, let's talk about what systems we've got and let's share our systems. A long time ago, I shared the prospecting system, and Emily Gibson has her prospecting system where it's like, say this, say this, say this. But let's look at the different systems, because I have this feeling that some of you will recognize systems that I'm not recognizing. And I mean, I have a good idea of what systems there are, but I may not think of all of them. So let's have some discussions about that.
Yeah, I like that. I actually did some research today, and for the next call that we have to talk about Bob Heilig's version of like prospecting and how that looks as a system.
Yeah, and we
that I
could go
can
through
share.
the different systems.
Yeah, I think that would be good to kind of go through them one-on-one and just brainstorm from there. But yeah, I like this week in the chat going through some stuff, and then January 2nd will be our next call, and that'll be a good call to start off the year with system talk.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe we could go through a different system each week until we've gone through the systems.
I like
Yeah,
to
or
know this tonight because I feel like I've been floundering. I know I've been floundering lately, but I feel like sometimes we'll do something, we'll say, all right, everybody do it this way. Okay, we got a new idea. Everybody do it this way. Okay, new idea. And I'm like, I can't.
And see, we need, as a leader, it's supposed to be our job to keep y'all from feeling that way, or to keep our people we lead. Like, we're supposed to help manage the crazy by reminding you of the system and not creating all this extra crazy stuff. And so I'm working on that. And I'm better.
Also, Bob Heilig says if something's working for you, you keep doing that system.
Yep.
So if it's working for you, we're running low on time, so
Yeah.
we actually have no time.
Yeah. Sorry,
Now, if
Victoria.
you wanna-
But hey, you got
no,
people
we
to
can
talk.
We can keep talking, but if you want to stop recording,
Yeah,
we
I'm
can
going
do that.
to. And I got to get some kiddos to sleep and check on Jackson, and he seems to be doing okay.
Well, thank y'all for letting me crash your thing tonight, because I know I'm kind of looking for a place to land until I can figure out my own, because that's my other bad head talk is I keep telling myself, you should be doing a better job about this.